bear?
We heard about one.
We were doomed from the start.
Something smells.
It's like wet dog. Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know when you get that eerie feeling of nervousness that just doesn't go away, no matter how much you plan? Yeah, I had that for weeks planning for this trip. I finally self-talked my way into saying, it's all just silly nerves. You're gonna be fine. We got a late start as we hiked the first leg of the journey from the visitor center to the start of the trail. Because of elevation and our packs being decently heavy, we were already struggling with this first part.
I'm already getting a little tired.
But the views were gorgeous. We made it to the top of the falls. We had a quick snack, and we watched some people and spiders. This is where we officially decided to take the trail to the right towards the cabin. This would be 5 miles to the cabin site, but due to the drastic changes in elevation, it definitely felt way more than that. We didn't feel very rushed to get there since we had it all planned out. Eat and get water once we get to the cabin, and then find our campsite down the trail a bit. So we stopped and ate snacks,
Nom-noms. We're ready to go now.
took videos of frogs and furry bugs, tried some bird watching with my app. You know, the normal pass-the-time lazy backpacking mentality. Sarcasm. And talked with other hikers along the way.
We heard about one.
And that's when we heard about the bear.
Something smells.
You're right.
At hearing and seeing this, I was excited and nervous all at the same time. We were obviously getting pretty tired, but we were still in good spirits. We were just looking forward to our stopping point at the cabin. Little did we know this is when things started to go downhill. We talked with the front desk about being around and cooking our meal on their property, like what the visitor center said we could do. The lady at the front did not know and went to speak with her manager about this. This is where I began to panic a bit. In the end, they offered us some water, but then gently kicked us out. At this point, in an hour, it would be dark. We were hungry, but we did not know if we should stop and eat on the way, or just find our campsite before it gets dark. We felt a little lost at this point. As we were hiking, we stopped, ate a snack, and discussed a few areas to potentially camp, but ultimately chose to grit our teeth and push through to our designated campsite.
Yeah, it's here.
Relief came over us when we found our campsite and there was no one occupying it. If there was someone, we would have had to walk a bit more. We got lucky, to be honest.
Probably hike back that way and make the food.
We were so thankful and quickly got started setting up camp. My brother stayed back to set up the hammocks, and I went back on the trail to make our dinner. We finished up our meal, and then we walked and planted our food and kitchen 100 feet down the trail past our site. And then we headed back to bed. Everything was going smoothly at this point until... yeah, I did not get much sleep. In the morning, I woke up to this amazing sunrise over the mountain though, and that made the sleepless night worth it. I walked in my sleeping bag to stay warm, to the food and kitchen, and then went about making breakfast and coffee. I started a fire to warm up my socks and frankly myself, and then proceeded to make breakfast. This was a really nice morning, and we may have stayed at our campsite a bit too long. We saw a lot of hikers along the path. The most surprising thing we saw along the path, though, was a decent amount of scat. I was excited and kept looking all around just to have the opportunity to see a bear. But so far, all we got were the nasty wet dog smells. After some long, grueling climbs, we made it to the top. While sitting and watching the view, I found that I was developing blisters. The good thing is I caught this early and put bandages on. We looked out over the view just a bit more, waved goodbye to some people.
All right. Bye. Have a good time.
Bye.
And got back on the trail. We started our trek back down, and when we stopped at the shelter to eat food and gather more water, we saw a number of concerning things. My brother's bag and my shoes were torn and tearing more. After talking it over, we decided to expedite leaving before everything falls apart. And so we went to the stream, gathered more water, and went on our way. We had a few more steep sections of elevation, and then it was mostly downhill from there. Not to say it was any less exhausting though, and we found ourselves maybe a tad bit out of breath.
Uphill is not my friend.
We drank what water we had along the way and rested for a few minutes at a time.
I mean, my feet they're just tingly all over. So I'm pretty sure after a few more miles, they'll be completely numb.
Let's go! Our goal was to get down to the entrance of the Appalachian Approach Trail and camp at a close campsite. That way we would be a little bit warmer than last night, and we would be closer to a water supply that we saw on our map. But as we got closer, we found that the few campsites that were close to the entrance were already taken.
Oh man.
And were not suitable for us to stay at. And so we took a quick break close to the entrance of the trail, and then we decided that we should head home.
We're leaving. We're getting out of here. This was the last campsite, and we're gonna hike another 1.6 till we get to our car, and then we're gonna go. We've really done a lot.
Today?
Yeah. Okay, well, we're done.
Our feet were worn out, our gear was worn out, we had eaten the majority of our snacks, and most of our food. I honestly thought that I was better prepared for this, but in truth, anything can happen. But we made it to the falls, had a grueling hike down the stairs so we could take pictures by the falls, and then to the visitor center where we started off the other day. I realized as we got there that we had traveled around 25 miles in 2 days, and that was a feat for us hiking rookies in and of itself. We celebrated with some Waffle House and tried not to walk much for the next few days. In the end, even when adventures go awry, great things can still come from them. Like waffles.